Welcome to Upleveling, the podcast dedicated to building better leaders, smarter systems, and bigger results. All right, let's kick this off. Today, we are talking about building a great workplace, and this is something I'm super passionate about, and I like to think I've done a pretty good job at. So let's get started. First, I just kind of want to say, here's the deal. You can have the best strategy, pricing, all of the things, but if you can't keep great people, you'll keep starting over. And retention isn't really HR, it's your growth engine. Because today we're going to talk about retaining great employees and building a workplace that people don't want to leave. A lot of times when we talk about retention, you'll see statistics or you'll see dollars, and retention does cost you real money. I read a study the other day that mentioned it's like an average of $30,000 per position. Now, I don't know where they get these statistics, but what I really want to point out is that turnover doesn't cost you money, it kills your momentum. In a small business, momentum is everything. It really just slows us down. And when we are business owners, we need to focus on relationships and speed and quality. And when we have high turnover, we can't focus on those things because we're constantly trying to plug a hole. The goal is to make our culture so clear and compelling that great people choose to stay. So how do we create a great culture? Let's dig into that. So I came up with a framework. It's the 5 C's framework of building culture, and we're going to go through that kind of briefly today. If you're local, you're going to get to hear this at the Chamber's Elevate Business Conference this week because I'm talking all about culture, and I'm going to go into depth into that this week. And I figured after that seminar, I'm probably going to record a podcast just on culture, but I'll give you the high level of that now. So we want to focus on the 5 C's, and the first one is core values. We are going to hire and we are going to fire by them. We're in the middle of this people framework, and this is the very end of it where we are talking about how do we retain people. And the thing is, if you went through all of the other phases of attracting and hiring the right person, and then you're training and you're onboarding them, if you don't retain them, all of that is just wasted effort. So I want to help you build the culture that people don't really want to leave. And that starts with the core values. We talked about them a little bit before in hiring. They are not fluff. Values are something that you hold even if it costs you, even if it's a competitive disadvantage. And we want to use them in hiring by asking those behavioral type questions, about tell me about a time when something happened. Or we want to use them in reviews with our team, and we want to use them when we're giving shout outs or we're praising the team. And we want to talk about how our team is living our core values. So let's talk a little bit about, I can't remember if I gave this example of do the right thing in the earlier podcast or not, but I'm going to go with it anyway. So do the right thing. I might ask in that interview and hiring stage about tell me about a mistake that you made and you had to bring to your boss. And the reason I'm asking that is I want to make sure that the person I'm hiring can really do the right thing. Another one I probably haven't talked about is one of our values is your success is our success. And I 100% believe that. And that applies to our clients and to our team. And the way that it applies to our clients is I want them to be successful. I am more successful when our clients are winning. And so our core value is to do what we can do to help them win, to help them be more successful. And we talk about this all through our training and onboarding of new staff so they understand as well. Because at the end of the day, and I've told them this, I don't have a business if I don't have successful clients. And if I can't have a business, they can't have a job. And so it comes down to that as well. Like, I want them to be successful in their role here. And we just live that, and that becomes part of the culture. We talk about it and we live by it. We live it out every day. This is really what makes people feel like they belong, or maybe that they stick out. That can be a good thing too. We want to weed people out by values. So just think of that. Core values are not fluff, they're the real deal. And I would love to talk to you if you're really struggling with this and you haven't been able to get some core values down on paper. Shoot me a DM and let me know. If you're a client, definitely hit me up so we can talk about this, because if you can develop core values, it is going to help your business be stronger. So our second C is communication. And I want you to remember that communication is clarity, and clarity creates calm. People want to be spoken to directly, and they want to know that you care. It's the saying that says we are going to praise our people in public and we're going to correct them in private. We're not going to air anyone's flaws or errors or mistakes out for the entire team. We're going to do that in private. But we're also going to communicate what winning looks like. Your team wants to know, what does it look like for them to be successful in their role? This is why we're giving them clear KPIs. We're giving them project outcomes, and we're giving them deadlines. That way they know what to expect. We've communicated what the goal is, and we've communicated what winning looks like and what success looks like and what's working and what's not. We want to over communicate because our team wants to know what to expect. And the more clarity we can give them, the more calmness we're going to feel in our business. And employees like calm. They do not like chaos, at least most of the time. But with this communication, we're building feedback loops because we're talking to the team and we're setting goals, and we're talking to the team about how they're measuring against the goal and what that KPI looks like. And when they're off track, we're coaching them to get back on track. And we're talking to them about what they need and what resource they might need. All of the things, we're over communicating, and we're building these feedback loops so that they can become better at their job. Our third C is cadence. Cadence is going to bring predictable meeting rhythms, and this is going to reduce anxiety. People want to know what to expect. They want to know what's next and what is coming up. And when we can give them cadence and these meeting rhythms, they're going to thrive. So let's talk a little bit about some cadence of how we operate at Align CPA. So we have a daily huddle. It's kind of misleading because we only do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. As we grow, I am considering moving that to 5 days a week. But this is probably a 10-minute max huddle each morning where we're talking about 3 things. Heads up, meaning here's what I have going on throughout the day. Here's what meetings I have. What's up, meaning here's the work that I'm working on today and what I plan on getting done. And then I'm stuck. That way the team can say, hey, I'm stuck on this and I need help. Or they can say, I need help from XYZ. So everyone knows exactly what is going on. That's one of our weekly rhythms. We also do a weekly production meeting. So every Monday, we're talking about all of our deliverables and all of our client projects and all of our tax returns and all of our accounting and where we're at, so that we know what's behind, maybe what's overdue, what we're waiting on from clients, what we're struggling with. But in this production meeting, we'll also talk about new tools or new systems. And we are just bringing the entire production team together so everyone is on the same rhythm and everyone knows what's going on. We also have a monthly all hands-on team meeting. And so that's where we're talking about the firm as a whole, of what's coming up, what holidays are coming up, One of our core values is also commitment to community. And so we'll talk about what is our quarterly community involvement project. Are we volunteering? Are we giving money? Lately it's been a lot of golf tournaments and things like that. So we're talking about what's going on. And then we move into quarterly one-on-ones with me. So each team member gets to meet with me each quarter, and before they meet with me, they fill out a Google form that has some questions on it that they answer so I know what to expect. And those questions are things like, where are you struggling? Where do you feel successful? What resources do you need right now? What do you need from me? Where are you in reaching your goals? And the last question, this is kind of a newer one that I've thrown on there, is if you were the CEO, what's the first thing you would change? We haven't went through quarterly one-on-ones with that question, so I'm really curious to see what they'll say. But what I've shown you are examples of our meeting cadence. And again, it just helps our team to know what to expect. And that's what we want as humans. We want to know what's coming next, what to expect. So I want you to think about what cadence you can create in your business to help, because like I said, your culture lives in your rhythm. All right, our fourth C is care personally. So number 4 and number 5 come directly from the book Radical Candor by Kim Scott, and I cannot recommend it enough if you're building a team. But care personally is about really seeing the human and not just the position. It's about knowing each person's goal and their strengths and what they want out of life, what makes them happy, because we're all human beings at the end of the day. We're not robots. And when we start to forget that is when our culture goes down and when we're not building workplaces that people want to stay. People want to feel like you care about them. And I know this may be hard for some of you, but think about the outcome of what you want from this person, because the more care that you can show them, that is going to build trust. And then they're going to know that you have their best interest at heart. So I want you to start with those quarterly one-on-ones and just do a human check-in and say, how's life? How's it going? I'm sure there's some HR people out there yelling at me saying, we can't talk about that at work, but just check in with your people on a caring level, because caring isn't coddling people. It's just investing in your people so they can do their best work. I truly care about my team and that they're living happy lives. And if they're not, I want to help them get to that place. I want what is best for them. And that is what builds trust. So our fifth C is to challenge directly. We want to give feedback to our team that we're giving them direct and helpful feedback. This goes in hand with caring personally, because you need to care personally, but challenge directly. And the feedback that we're giving them, it really is a gift. It needs to be clear, it needs to be timely, and it needs to be specific. And this is also where we're not criticizing the person. We're giving them feedback that can help them make better decisions, help them work more efficiently, and really just be happier in their role. Think about how you can sit down with them and just be very transparent and say, hey, I'm sharing this because I want you to win. I want you to be more successful. But here's what you missed, and here's how you could do it better next time. Or ask them, tell me about what went wrong. Tell me about your thought process, instead of immediately saying, well, that was really dumb. Now, sometimes we say that in our head, and that's okay. We just can't say it out loud. We want to give support, and we want to understand. Well, let me back up. We want to give support, but that has to start with understanding someone's thought process. And so when we can understand that, we can challenge them directly, because our best people really want to know that we care and they want to be challenged. That's also going to show them that we truly believe in them. We believe that they can do the job and that they can meet the goal and they can hit the metrics. And that is going to empower your people. So we've went through the 5 C's of building a great culture. And now that we have that established, what else do employees want? Employees want a clear growth path, and they want to know what success looks like. They want to stay where they can see a future. And they want to know, I said they want to know what growth looks like. They want to know what promotion looks like. What do they need to do to get to the next level, to the next step? And it is our job as leaders to lay that path out for our team. Now, we're going to have employees that maybe don't want to take the path, and that's okay. But for the ones that do, we have given them that map to promotion. We've given them clear roles and KPIs and metrics to meet. They know what success looks like. It's visible. And we're going to coach them every week on meeting those metrics and getting better. Because honestly, at the end of the day, being a great leader is not hiring great people and just letting them go do their thing. It's continuing to invest in them and to coach them and to give them feedback that's going to make them better. Employees want an unchaotic environment, at least most employees. Your top performers don't leave because it's hard. They leave because it's chaotic. Chaos steals focus, it creates rework, and it makes every day feel like a fire drill. And although to some people that may be fun on some days, they do not want that every day. Our retention is going to rise when our day starts to feel predictable and organized and calm. So what does chaos look like? It's when our priorities are constantly shifting. They're shifting midweek and there's no explanation. And you're saying, oh, this is the goal. And then by Thursday, it's a new goal. And then here comes Monday and you're facing the complete opposite direction. It's chaos. Your employees are coming in and saying, well, that's not my job. I'm not doing that. Or deadlines are happening and everyone's surprised. No one knows what's going on. That's what chaos looks like. We want to create calm. We want to create systems that stick. We're going to do this through clear systems and software. We want to use tools that are going to show everyone's priorities, who owns what task, when are they due, what does success look like. If it's not in the tool, it's not real. I say that all the time about my calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. The same thing happens here. We're also going to think about getting our team to lock into priorities. What's their top 3 priorities? What are they trying to achieve each week? And then we want to give clear ownership. Every task needs to have an owner. And that doesn't mean that that person has to complete the task. It just means that that person is responsible in ensuring that the task gets completed. So everything that needs to happen in your business, there needs to be clear ownership of who is going to be responsible. The same thing that happens with your business goals. If you're hopefully about to sit down in the next month or so and do business planning for the next year, every single goal needs an owner. We're also going to create calm in our business by having tight handoffs. We're going to have checklists. We're going to have a definition of what is ready and what is done at each stage. This is where, if you've ever had an employee who's like, well, I thought that was done. And you're over here like, why the hell did you think that? It's probably because you didn't have a clear done. What does done mean? Because what it means to you is going to be different for someone else. So we're not just assuming that people know. We're going to have a clear checklist and a clear definition of done. And the last thing is maybe your team needs quiet hours or they need deep work blocks. There's a great book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And it talks a lot about that. And especially in today's age where we're just like constantly communicating although that's part of this talk, but we're constantly available to everyone, whether that's from our phone, from our Slack, from our email, from our team members walking in, that there's times where things not getting done, especially if you are more of the creative side. Like if you're on the marketing side of things or you're creating art, you need these deep time blocks to actually get your work done. So think about how you can protect, an hour to 3 hours of your team's time with no interruptions. Because if they're that creative brain, that's what they need to create that calm. But at the end of the day, whatever you're building in business, just be sure you're bringing calmness to it. So here's the thing. People stay where they belong, they're believed in, and they are growing. If you build a great culture and you provide a clear growth plan and you coach them with data, not feelings, you won't just keep your people, you'll compound momentum. And that is where businesses thrive. So if you have retention questions, I would love to hear them. We're going to do a bonus Q&A, as I've said at the end of each episode in this framework. And I want to answer your questions. I want to give you feedback on how you can create the best culture and how you can create a workplace that people don't want to leave. So shoot me a DM or shoot us an email at info@AlignCPA, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And if you want a CPA partner who supports growth beyond the numbers, book a discovery call because I would love to talk with you. Thanks for tuning in to Upleveling. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more entrepreneurs like you discover the show. Let's keep the conversation going. Connect with us on social media or visit AlignCPA.com for resources and updates. Until next time, keep leading, optimizing, and upleveling.